are live. Cool. So, what's up, everybody? I am here with the one and only Mike Spinner, and we are here to talk about approaching sponsorship within and outside of BMX. And this conversation spawned through the fact that first I talked with Kyle Carlson on Monday, and you saw it and posted his Instagram story, and kind of we chatted after that a bit, and here we are.
No, thank you so much for having me. This was, I thought the conversation you and Kyle had was really good because I feel like he's in the mix and he went from Vital to this, and I'm super happy for it because I was a little nervous that I knew when he was kind of getting over Vital, when he had this chance to have a good role with USA BMX and to help shape the freestyle world. There, to me at least, there was no one else in BMX that cares as much as Kyle, that really cares about the details of Kyle, and I feel could actually do like a really amazing job with that. What's so funny?
He's in here. He's in the chat.
See, how do you see what I'm just.
You have a second screen?
Yeah.
All right, here, I'll send it in the chat on Skype. Okay. But yeah, he's like, hi, I'm also here. That's funny. So how's stuff going, first of all? Things good?
Everything's going great. I've been running my nutrition company now for I guess almost 8 years. Wow. And I know it's crazy, since 2013.
That's 9 years, dude.
Yeah, well, we just got into 2020.
Yeah.
22, and then I launched it in 2013 at like the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And basically going really well. We're growing. We're selling more each year. We've recently partnered with and sold some equity to a bigger company that owns a lot of brands. So took chips off the table and are with a group of people that can help us grow the company even bigger. So it's been kind of like a dream scenario where, you get to grow a company to a point where another bigger company wants to actually buy and put their money, and actually, put faith in us. But the deal was that we still are operating the company like normal, and we're a part of this bigger company that owns 30 brands. So it's pretty cool. And but besides that, I'm just with in the last couple of years, I've been so excited for BMX and freestyle because of the Olympics. So I know everyone else has like their own take on it, but for me, I'm so fired up about the Olympics, being in the sport, being in the Olympics, BMX and BMX freestyle. And I think they did a really good job. I think they did a great job showing off. The guys that won are the top guys. Like, it all made sense, and I'm excited for, just the future of BMX. So, yeah, happy to be here.
Cool. Well, I wanted to start off by the conversation is talking about sponsorship within and outside of BMX and aspects surrounding that. And to give context for somehow, if somebody doesn't know who you are, you were a professional BMX rider who rode in professional level contests and also had BMX sponsors and outside of BMX sponsors. And now you have this company that is a nutrition company that's a pretty big company that's outside of the BMX world, and you support riders and other athletes. So I feel like you're like a perfect person to have this conversation with.
So I guess so to simplify it, I think there's 3 buckets we could put in for maybe who is the sponsor itself. So there's 3 buckets. I would call it in our industry, which would be considered, I would say, shoe companies. I would say BMX companies like like a Colt Bikes. Even Mongoose, it doesn't matter where they sell. It's a bike company, right? Yep. So the parts company, mail order, bike mail order,
bike shops too.
I would say, bike shop. Even any type of skate park, like any, sometimes skate parks sponsor riders because that's like the place they support, and they'll do they'll work with them to push the let's say a specific skate park because they're gonna do some kind of like events at the park, or contests or lessons, or camps. So I would call that is like the industry sponsors. Then there's I would just call it the straight up energy drink companies.
Yep.
And then that's number two. And then number three is straight up out of the industry, nothing to do with action sports at all, but they're just trying to, somehow that company itself is trying to integrate itself into action sports. And we'll get more into that in towards the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess where would you want to start? And maybe
so let's think. Let's approach this from a perspective of not exactly like how you get sponsored or what you need to do to be a sponsored BMX rider or anything. We're gonna assume that the person who we're talking about here is somebody who has been riding for quite a while and is at a level where they definitely could make something happen, but they don't quite know how to make that a connection. How do they approach each of these segments to potentially start working with these companies? That's kind of how I'd like to start it.
I feel like I think this is like the most searched thing that I think we all looked for. Like if there was if there was a video for how to get sponsored when I was younger, I would love to watch that video, right? I think we all. So all right, so let's sum that up. So there's two type of riders. There's the contest riders, and then there's non-contest rider. I would call it more video.
Yep.
And more to this day is, let's say, Instagram, right? It's same thing, right? Would you say that, like video part type of riders?
Yeah, I mean, I would say video part and Instagram would be two different things, but essentially they are the same type of rider either way.
I guess because I don't want to take anything away. I mean,
yeah, I just don't want the video part guys to be like, I'm not an Instagram rider.
But they are. But yeah.
But essentially, it's the same thing.
They could do technically the video part riders could do their video part, and then all they have to do is get their editor to send them each clip, and they'll post it on Instagram, and they're double dipping, right?
Yeah,
but
right.
yes, yeah, we're on the same page. All right, so if you're a contest rider and you're a top performing contest rider, or if you're let's say a non-top performing contest rider, but that's what you're good at is contest. So again, let's break that into two, right?
Yep.
So should we go? What do you want to do?
Let's do it into the buckets. First, the BMX, the industry bucket. Yeah. How would you approach that? Then the energy drink bucket, and then the totally outside, because they are definitely three totally different things.
Okay. So, and I'm writing this down so we could send. All right. So basically, BMX industry. Let's go there first. So the first thing would be is let's just focus on a contest rider that is doing well at the contest. And it doesn't matter if he's doing well at the contest on a pro level, or let's just say, maybe the class before, maybe, either 16 and up or, younger than that, doesn't matter. So I'd say this, if you're a top three rider, you probably have the most opportunity. If you're getting podiums at, let's say, these USA BMX contests, you're getting a podium. I don't care what class you're in. If you are getting podiums and you're possibly getting a photo on the podium, I think you have a great opportunity to get at least a bike sponsor. I would say it's right there.
Yep.
And for me, the simplest thing would be is literally, and I'm sure bike companies will hate me saying this, is straight up messaging them with a picture of yourself on the podium and saying, hey, I'm Mike Spinner. I just got this podium at this last contest, USA BMX in, let's say, California, Arizona, doesn't matter. Just got this podium. I love riding my bike. I would love it if there was a chance that I could get a frame from you guys to show off that I'm sponsored by you guys, and hopefully you give me an opportunity to send me some free bike parts. And I'll show you that not only am I excited to ride for your company, but I want to keep getting better and do better at contests. And, one day I want to be in the Olympics. I mean, that would be the perfect message. And if you're just asking for a free bike, because that's where it starts, a free bicycle, I think it's reasonable. That's podium.
Yeah.
Right? It's a podium.
Yeah, this one feels pretty easy because when you're the contest rider and you're making podiums, that's your credentials. That's how you show that you're worth being invested into.
And I would say, for me, if we go step by step, let's say you get the bike sponsor first. Then you can go to a parts sponsor. You could go to maybe a mail order, maybe, and you could use, I'm sponsored by Hyper Bikes. I am podiuming a contest. I'm so excited to ride for your company. Is there any chance or any way that you'd be able to give me free bike parts so I could put stickers everywhere and tell everyone that you guys are the coolest company for supporting me, and I hope that you will consider this. And I hope you don't mind that if I don't hear from you guys, I'm gonna message you guys again and again.
Yeah.
Like, straight up. So you just say it. You're not being the crazy guy that's like, you just keep messaging. You straight up say, hey, I'm gonna keep sending messages until someone says no thank you.
Well, it's like following up on a resume when you submit it for a job.
Yeah, but the best way to do that to me again is, and this is with me now having business experience. So
Right.
I gotta say, I think I used the same tactics as I did even when I was a pro.
Mm-hmm.
So I could really say I'm not switching my way of doing things. I was saying the same things I would have said then, and I would then, you get the bike sponsor, then you go to the shoe company, maybe like a Van Shoes, which really support BMX. It's Van. They're one of the best in BMX. And I would say, I'm sponsored by Hyper now. Could you give me free shoes? I would love to do that. And basically, for the starting point, and people might not understand that the initial point of getting sponsored is you're not going to get a paycheck. The odds are you're not getting money. You are getting free product, but now their eyes are on you. They see you. Hopefully they'll repost videos when you do good at a contest. If you're a contest rider, they'll make you more famous by reposting you on their social media, which means you are legit now. And so you have to go in there knowing, just like you and I think Brian and Jason and I think you guys mentioned we all love riding bikes, right? So technically, if we're just doing exactly what we do already and someone's willing to give us some free products, it's kind of a dream, right?
Yeah.
In the beginning. And then hopefully, all of a sudden we're going to a contest. The next thing when you start riding for a bike sponsor, the next step would be, to me at least, is doing good at a contest or two, and then the next step would be, hey, I podiumed at the last 3 contests I went to. Is there any way, and no one could get offended at this, is there any way someone could help me get to where I need to go? It is a very nice way to ask for money.
Yeah.
Right? Do you like that way?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a reasonable thing.
You can't get mad at, and everything I'm saying, I'm trying to say in a delicate way where the person on the other hand that's reading it, which might be the person that does social media, that might not have anything to do with the person in charge. You're hoping that this person shows that person.
Yep.
Very simple, right? So you don't want to piss off the social media guy, but you want to be very nice and happy and positive, So.
Your EVL Sports YouTube channel's in the chat too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
What's up?
Yeah. Oh, wow. It's not me, so.
Right, obviously. I think one other point I want to bring up in everything you just said is that I've also heard that it is a good idea to not do what you're talking about with more than one company at a time. You should wait for the no before you move on to the next company.
Good point. I'm actually really happy you said that. Yeah, or it just looks like you're just copying and pasting the message.
Exactly.
And that's what it is. I mean, let's be real. That is what it is, right? Like,
that's exactly it.
But on the positive note of that, and please disagree with me, Brant. Let's say one of us are trying to get sponsored by a bike company, and we just podiumed at a contest yesterday. The time is now. So, like, if we just podiumed at the contest on Sunday, today's Wednesday, we should be messaging someone right now. I just got podium 3 days ago, so there's some kind of urgency, right? I would say this, don't spam people.
Yeah.
Do not spam people. But if you sent it out to a few, three brands.
Write it yourself too. Don't copy and paste it. If you don't copy and paste, it's a little different, because then when the email gets forwarded to the other company, they're like, oh, it's a totally different one than we got.
Yeah, they actually would appreciate that, right? Yeah. Oh, good point. Yeah. But again, I want to say this I don't want to block anyone from not messaging, because technically I get messages at EVL all day, not from action sports, but from fitness people.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I know for a fact they all message multiple companies.
Right.
Can you really blame them?
No.
They're looking for free supplements. They are willing to tell all their friends and all their following on social that they're supporting us. You know what? I mean, you gotta kind of act while you just did good at a contest. But remember, we're talking about BMX contest riders,
right?
So there's some urgency there, and there would be some reason where, let's just say, a social media guy at one of the BMX companies was like, "Yo, I talked to Bob. I'm making this up," and he said you messaged him the same thing. You could quickly say, "I'm so sorry. I just really want to have support from a bike company, a top 3 bike company."
Yeah.
And to be honest, I reached out to you and 2 others. Like, what if you responded like that? Can that person really get mad? Not really.
No.
Because you're honest.
The problem is that it's BMX, and sometimes we don't get that, hey, why you emailed a couple of people email and you just get no email back.
No, you won't get a message back. To be honest, you're right. But at least you're trying.
Yeah, we're being reasonable here, and everything you're saying is totally reasonable.
Yeah.
It's just that sometimes in BMX you don't get that chance.
No. I know for a fact we're not responding to every single person that emails us. I know that. Yeah. I know we've created a program for our ambassador athletes that if they have a certain amount of following and they have like a good attitude and they don't have like anything bad on their social media, we'll give them an opportunity to do they'll get a discount on our website. And if they can prove to themselves that they keep buying and they take good photos, remember it's fitness.
Yeah.
It's different than sports. It's different than BMX, right? Where BMX, we could watch a video of someone and be like, "Oh no, he's not good." Like he's not good.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
It's pretty simple. Like in a second, you and I could be like, "Oh, that guy's not that good. Ooh, this guy's pretty good." Or, "Hey, that guy is a good contest rider. Let's watch a video of him." But oh wait, I think he only did good at that contest because there was only 3 riders. So maybe he was on podium, but there was only 3 people. Yep. So we could take a look at that. We're like, in fitness, it would be straight up based on someone looks good and if they have a decent following on social media.
Right. So I feel like we covered the BMX side pretty well. What about the outside of BMX for the contest rider? I feel like it's similar.
No. I think this is okay with you. Tell me if it's okay. Because I feel like when we get to that spot, it's going to not be as fun.
It's definitely not going to be as fun.
It's not. So let's hold people back, and we're going to talk about the big money that is the most difficult to get right at the end, because it won't be. Yeah,
we could do that for the different types of riders at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go to. Let's just turn our focus onto the video part, guys. And I know you don't want us to combine the video part, guys. With
it's okay. I just wanted to give the disclaimer.
For you.
Yeah, I just wanted the disclaimer there. We can put them in the same bucket. Just realize and acknowledge you're not the same.
Okay. So Brant needs to disassociate himself with me. Basically, Brant says, and I agree with him, that there are 2 types of riders that film, right?
Yeah, you're right.
There's the video part rider, and then there's guys that can do 1 trick a week or a month and post on Instagram.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah. But they go in the same bucket.
Yeah. All right. So for me, it's going to be the same bucket. I'm going to say this, and this is going to make it very difficult for the video part guys that don't have a following on social. I think it is probably the hardest time for them to reach out and potentially try to ask someone to sponsor them, because if they don't, let's say they're the best bike rider in the world, that is a video rider, not contest rider, not a huge Instagram with huge amount of following. I think this day and age is the hardest for a video part rider to get sponsored, because I'll be honest, I don't even know what I would suggest to tell them to send the Instagram message to.
Yeah.
They're going to show not that good a following. Maybe the person that's doing the social will take a look at 1 or 2 of their videos.
Yeah.
Maybe it's video part guys a lot of times are better at the lines, right? So maybe they're not doing 1 amazing trick, but maybe they're doing 3 things in a row, maybe a long manual that it takes possibly more talent from their point of view than any of the Instagram guys.
Yeah.
However, in this day and age, I would say it's very hard for a video part rider to message an Instagram account and ask for a potential free frame or a free shoes when their Instagram is not that big, but they're an amazing rider. I'll say that the way our industry is going, it's not best for video guys right now.
And maybe a way to think about that is that there are definitely companies in the BMX world that when you look at their teams, they are more made up of those video part guys. So maybe that's how you approach this. If you're that guy, you're looking at who do you fit in with?
I love that, Brand. Ooh. All right, so I guess let's talk about that. Good point. That was a really good point. No, this is what you do, right?
Yeah.
So, that was, I think, just so everyone knows, like, that was my excitement to talk to you. Was I felt like everyone that you've talked to, from the 3 people that I specifically watched, Kyle, Jason, and Brian Fox, was that you have a conversation with them, but you jump in and you'll either push a little more or bring up a different point of view, right? Yeah. So to your point of view, I think that's a great idea. For example, let's talk about this Colt.
Yeah.
Colt, they have an amazing, but their pro riders are like the best guys. So,
right.
But let's just say, you and I are great video part guys. Maybe we'd reach out to Colt and specifically go out of our way and explain, hey, I am a huge fan of Colt bikes. I am not messaging anybody else. Mm-hmm. I think I'm a good video part rider, and I'm going to try to keep getting better and better. And I hope to be one day at the level of some of your pro riders. Is there any chance that you would just give me an opportunity to just tell me that you watched one of the videos that I want to send you, or a specific, like, almost like, please just acknowledge that you're reading this, like, that's basically what we're talking about, because I know what you're saying. People are just going to message and they're getting ignored. And again, it is getting sent to the social media guy who might not give a fuck to show it, right? I mean, that's what we're competing against, right?
Yep.
So, maybe just, I think that I like what you said, Brant, is specifically going to a company and almost selling the story of, hey, I believe that the only place I feel I could fit is Colt bikes. And, please just, the only thing I ask for is just look at my videos, see that, maybe I am a fit or not. Mm-hmm. And I'm asking for a frame, please. Right? Would that be like the only way,
Yeah, and then also I just thought of too, like there's some energy drinks that sponsor these video part guys that sometimes don't compete. So I think maybe that if you get in with Colt, then you use that as your stepping stone.
I agree with you 100%. I do agree with that. That 100%, you couldn't have said it better. And I was going to go into that with when we get to the Monster, Red Bull, Rockstar energy drinks, for the non-contest guys, for the video part guys, and the famous Instagram big following. To me, you need to get a bike sponsor first, and then you're at least known. So then the energy drink sponsors will at least be aware you're on a team. That means you're not a crazy person. You love riding bikes. Yeah. It's almost like they did the the interview for them.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Like they almost know that you're a safe bet.
You're qualified at that point.
You're qualified. Yeah. Good. See, I love this. I'm loving and just I like to point it out, because when you say these things, I'm like, I get it. And if I disagree, I'll disagree. So don't think I'm just gonna roll over and play.
He's over here just blowing smoke up my butt.
Yeah. I will totally tell you if I disagree. So look. So, let's just touch on, to me, very easy, Instagram famous guys that do a couple tricks a month that have huge followings because they know exactly how to film the video, whatever. It doesn't matter how they got it. They have a huge fucking following. They have from the range of, I don't know what's big nowadays. What's considered big? Is it 20,000 and up would be considered? Okay, I'll look. I don't know.
I think it depends on who you're asking. I think random people look at like 5 to 10,000 and up, and
Yeah.
are like, "Holy crap, that's amazing!" But maybe from a brand perspective,
Yeah, from a brand's
I would say maybe that 10,000 mark, because you
10 is
get the
what you're legit.
10K. You got the K now.
That's huge. Yeah. Okay, I like that. All right, so I agree. But to a sponsor that is going to give you a bike frame with shipping that would technically cost them a couple $100, right?
Yeah.
So we have to put that in perspective of, remember and we'll get into the value. And that, I think, talking about value will be more towards the others, to the corporate sponsors.
Yep.
But I'll explain that in a second. But to simplify, you screenshot your freaking profile, you send it to the bike sponsor. Hey, I love riding bikes. I have, X amount of followers. I would love to get free products from you guys, and I would love to prove to you that my following, this is very important, that my following likes me so much that if given an opportunity to ride for your company, all I ask for is free shit and some type of proof that I can get people that follow me to buy your shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to show you the fucking value of me.
Yeah.
And that is, if someone messaged me that, you can't ignore that. That is someone saying straight up, hey, I will prove to you that I am worth money. I will sell money to get money. And then let's just say if you get a bite and you're one of the big Instagram people and they say, hey, we're not interested, but maybe in the future. My response would be, how about this? Can I buy a frame from you guys at a discount?
Yep.
And can I get a promotional code to show you that I could drive traffic to your site? And again, how would the person say no? To be honest, it'd be very fucking hard, or they just don't care about their job.
Yeah.
And I don't mind calling anyone out. If someone sends that and they have a decent amount of following, and they said, I will buy a frame, can you give me a discount? And can you give me a promo code that I could push to people to tell them to buy stuff on your website? If a brand ignores that, it's because the social media guy doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
And if they don't give a fuck, bother them about it. Hey, you haven't got back to me. Hey, you haven't got back to me. Who else should I reach out to?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm going to reach out to a few other people on the team that I noticed on LinkedIn says they work for that bike company. Basically, I'm going to call your ass out until you. Because to me, if you have a big following on Instagram and you can verbally say, hey, I will prove to you that I'm going to get you sales, I don't know how you ignore that.
Yeah, you're absolutely
Like
right.
that? Do you like that?
Oh yeah, fully.
Have you ever heard that method?
Not with BMX companies, because it's been so long since I've even like tried to connect with a BMX company.
Yeah.
Based on where I'm at in BMX. But when it comes to the corporate stuff that we're gonna get to, you kind of do the same thing, but in a not I'm gonna prove to you kind of way.
Yeah. So cool. So would you say we touched on the industry endemic BMX frame sponsors?
Yeah, and there's one other thing that I think that we kind of maybe
missed out,
jumped over top of, in that if you feel that you're at this level and you reach out and you get the no, maybe this means that you should have went to your local bike shop before you should have went to the company. Because I can remember a time on S&M's website where they used to say, if you feel that you're able to rep us, hit up your local bike shop and have them get in contact with us first.
Well, so again, I agree with what you're saying, but we did specifically say for the BMX guys, for the BMX contest riders, we were talking podium guys.
Yep.
And there's not that many contests going on. So technically, if you get a podium at a BMX contest, there's not many BMX contests really going on in the United States. So if you're podium at a contest and there's only 10 contests a year, you probably could go straight to the bike company.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and then two for the video park guy. Oh, sorry, for not the video park guys, but the Instagram famous guys. again, what would that person even do with a local bike shop if they have a big following on Instagram of 10,000 or more, the double digit? To be honest, what would they even do? So in reality, I feel like we've been talking specifically on more established guys that are either podium at a contest or have a big following.
Yeah.
And in my personal view, I didn't get my first sponsor was Albies mail order, and it was when I was then when they came down here, and they when I met everyone and I had a great time with them and I hung out with them and they started to take care of me. But they saw me ride, they met me as a person, and they are, I would say, they're not a local bike shop. They are, they ship everywhere. But like, my point of saying that is I never really looked at getting a sponsor from a local bike shop. I never did that. I went straight from like, no sponsors at all to Albies, and then my next sponsor was Miracle Bikes. So like, I never really went down the path of maybe the local place. I think it's at that point you're just desperate. I don't know if that's necessary.
Yeah, maybe that is more geared towards the person who might be watching this, who feels that they're at the level and just isn't actually quite there yet.
Yeah.
There is a quick thing in the chat that I think we could definitely acknowledge here. So it's Saul Marino. He says, I have two daughters that race, an 8-year-old boy that races 2 bikes and does freestyle, and a 15-year-old that does freestyle. We as a family started to sell merchandise to help out with family fun time. Does that cause a problem or block sponsorships for our children? And Kyle answered it pretty well. He said, not at all. Just be aware that if another clothing company brand happens to come along, they'd more than likely ask for exclusivity in exchange for support, but those are few and far between.
Yes, I agree with Kyle 100%. Yeah, interesting question. No, that's a good question, actually. Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, and just on top of what Kyle said, I would say this: if you're actually selling product and your family is involved in BMX racing or tricks, to be honest, if you're actually selling a good amount of product, you probably can reach out to the company, because if you're buying product from any company, you have some power there. So you could call them and say, hey, my kids are actually really good, in my eyes at least, and can you send me some stuff for them to wear? And they'll probably give it to you for free, especially if you're buying product, because they're gonna, you're the reason that they are selling, the reason that they're around. So, but
yep, I just felt that was a pretty good thing to bring up in there. So I guess we could move on.
Okay. I'd say energy drink sponsor. Let's go there. Right?
Yeah, this is one that's totally mysterious, because I feel like there's nothing out there for this.
Okay, so same 3 pillars to recap, just to talk about. There's contest riders, there's there's video park guys, and there's Instagram famous guys. I hope it's okay that I'm saying that. I'm saying it in the most positive way, because
you're being truthful. It's the reality of it.
Those guys. So, and then of course there's there's getting into an energy drink sponsor. If you're a contest rider and you're doing podiums, at least the company that's putting on the contest itself will be aware. For example, Monster Energy is involved in a lot of amateur pro contests. So if you are doing a top 3 podium at any of the events that Monster Energy is putting on, you are on their radar. You are on their radar. And if you keep getting a top 3 at those contests, if you're I know they don't want to do kids really under 16, but if you are 16 and older, you could probably get free Monster, right? Free stuff, which is cool to tell your friends that you're sponsored by Monster. And then if you're a pro and you're riding in the pro level contest, pretty simple. If you are podium and you are constantly getting on a podium and you're in the pro level, to be honest, can you really name that many pros that are podium, that get on podium, that don't have a drink sponsor? I can't really.
I don't know that it exists.
Yeah, so good. So perfect. So to get into that, to get sponsored by an energy drink company, at a contest rider, if you perform, you will get sponsored. Just don't be a dickhead. Nice person. Don't. That would be it.
That sums up the whole entire conversation.
For Pretty simple. Perform well, you know, and I'm not going to go into detail of like ways people are riding. We're keeping it very general.
Yep.
I had my own style of riding, and I like to do lots of spins and lots of tail whips, and I liked to be original in my own mind, right? Of
Mm-hmm.
just I always like to be great at one thing, not okay or good at a bunch of things. So I was great at spinning and tail whips and combining those
Yeah.
quad whips, 1080, seven whips, um, triple whips, quad whips, uh, five whips, all 900s. So I like to be really good at that. So then at contests, I was the only one really doing that stuff. So then that's how I performed really well. I was the only one doing it. It was hard for me to hard for people to judge against me.
Kyle
And
said bad
bad
turn.
1080 turndowns, you know? Uh,
Yeah.
Funny Kyle. But he knows. But so I guess for contests to be sponsored by for energy drink, it's as simple as if you perform really well and you're getting top three, you're probably sponsored. I mean, I'm not trying to freak everyone out, but like at the Olympics, at the 9 riders, wasn't everyone sponsored by an energy drink sponsor? I mean, not necessarily they were allowed to show it off there, but wasn't everyone? Red Bull, Monster, or
I
Rockstar?
think so, and actually, it's funny that you asked that question because when the last X Games happened, there was a huge controversy around the amount of monster riders versus
I know.
everything else. So I actually went through and I like listed everybody's
Yeah.
energy drink, and I found that there was actually a few that were in X Games who didn't have any energy drink sponsor at all, but they
Okay.
weren't the podium guys.
That's what, and we're focused on that,
Yeah.
right? So that I mean, because if we don't focus on that, it really is then if we get away from podium guys, it's just the top guys that are getting top 10. That's straight up. If your friend is a team manager at Monster, Rockstar, Red Bull, you are sponsored by Monster, Rockstar, or Red Bull. At least from my point of view, I was a guy that retired BMX when I thought I was not able to be a top guy anymore. It
Yeah.
was that simple. So I got out, So that's, but so we're talking for contest guys, podium guys.
Yep.
So sorry, like we're just gonna focus on guys that are getting podiums.
But to
So
answer your question, I'm pretty positive that everyone, or at least
at
the
Olympics,
vast majority of the people at the Olympics.
yeah, I think so. You know, and if you know what, and if you are a podium guy and you're not sponsored by an energy drink company, there's probably something wrong with you. It's probably a personality thing. It's probably because you pissed a bunch of people off. It's a small industry we have, right?
Hmm.
Very small industry. And at the end of the day, if you open your mouth too much and you say some jealous comments, people just don't want to deal with it. So you gotta kind of be careful what you say around certain people. And so that's contest. I'm gonna go straight to the Instagram guys first, and
Okay.
then we can touch on the video part guys, because I think you actually talked about it already. But I would say for the Instagram famous big following guys, if you already have a bike sponsor, I think Monster and Rockstar are aware of you. Red Bull seems, and there's three in there, so it's not like there's many. It's three. All right,
Yeah.
no one has to worry about. Red Bull really only sponsors pros. So basically, if you're not a professional, straight up professional, don't even stress. You're not getting sponsored by Red Bull.
Yeah.
Monster and Rockstar will kind of go based on if you have a bike sponsor first. So no matter what, I think to get sponsored by Rockstar or Monster, if you're a video guy or an Instagram guy, you have to already really be you have to have like the resume like we talked about. You have to be already sponsored by a bike.
The
Bike
foot's
company.
got to be in the door.
It has to be, or something's wrong, or there's
Yeah.
something wrong with you, or that's I mean, right? And technically, it's not like at this point, contest guys. Again, I know for a fact the video guys are not happy and are not the most pumped on contest guys. I know this. Come on, it's very obvious. I get
Hmm.
it. But like from the fact of specifically the energy drink sponsors, and then if you think about the street riders that are sponsored by the big companies, Red Bull, Monster, or Rockstar, if we really think about the best street riders, my point of view, Garrett Reynolds, Chad Curley, and just picking a few guys that I know off the top of my head that I rode with. and Dennis Anderson. Those three guys they might be one of the best street riders in the world, but they are amazing contest riders.
Yeah.
So they don't count. They do not. They are contest riders, and they probably get paid a good amount of money because they are amazing contest riders, and because they love to film edits and they love to post great content on their social media. But it's not. They're probably making really good money because of the contest riding. Like, I hope. Right, do you think I'm making it pretty clear?
Oh yeah, and I've even heard, even in this modern day and age, that incentives for contest placings are still pretty dang good.
Oh, insane! Yeah, because that's the whole point. Like, if someone could get a rider and say, "Hey, we're only going to pay you a little bit, but if you win fucking X Games or Olympics, we'll pay you a huge bonus." Who cares? If the guy wins, that'd be great, right? You know, like, it's all good if you have to give a one-time bonus.
And if you haven't caught on at this point in the conversation, if you are truly, your goal is to make something happen in BMX, and you are neither of these three things, you don't make edits, you have no following on social media, and you don't compete in contests, well, then you have no value to a sponsor.
There's no, what are you selling? You know, you're not
the days of just being good at riding bikes and getting thrown on ended long ago.
Yeah, because, hey, come on, we all know that, you know, like, we've both been in this business or in BMX for a while, that we know that every skate park we ever go to, there's really good local guys.
Yeah.
And they really don't care about contests. They don't care about posting videos. They don't care about filming. They just love to ride, which is great. I love it. But I think their expectations are also, they're aware that, oh, no, I know I'm not going to be sponsored. I know I'm not going to be sponsored, but I love riding my bike.
Yep.
And that's why I'm doing it. I have a job, or I'm in college, but I'm not looking to get sponsored. I know it doesn't work that way. I know the guys that are filming an edit right now, you know, that are trying the same trick over and over, that are getting frustrated because they're trying to put out a nice edit, or they're trying to learn a new trick for a contest. They're putting in the work. And there's a lot of good riders that just love to be at the skate park and to ride. And normally the best riders to watch ride and flow the park, you know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But they don't care. They do not care.
Yep, one of my best friends in the whole world, Sponge. He is literally the best rider I've ever seen in my whole life.
Yep. Did this sell it today?
Oh, I mean, he just only cares about riding his bike. And I mean, if something crazy came along, I'm sure he'd be like, oh, sure, yeah. But even then, he had an opportunity to be on Mutiny back in the day, and all he had to do was film and edit, and it just never happened. It's just because
I appreciate that.
Yeah, he just wants to ride his bike. He loves riding his bike.
He's like, for $300, it'd be cool. Maybe get on the team and travel around. Or I get to just ride my bike and love to do it, and I have no responsibility. You know, like, that's, you know what, that's cool, right?
Yeah, there's a respectable aspect of that.
And those are normally the most fun guys to ride with. Like, if we're in our situation and we're trying to film something or practice for a contest or something, normally the guys that are most fun to ride are those guys. Because they're not stressed. They're just like your hype man, right? Like, I keep going or whatever.
Yep, So I think, I mean, that very well sums up the energy drink thing, I think.
Yeah, I think it's pretty simple. And the video park guys, you have to be sponsored by a bike company. And then even the Instagram guys, get a bike sponsor. And that's your first step. Sorry for screaming baby.
That's totally okay. Yeah, a little bit, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah. So corporate. We'll go
real quick. I got a quick question in the chat that I think we could hit real quick before that. It says, I've always wondered, this is my buddy Jordan, I've always wondered if where you live also plays a part in how hard or easy it is to get a sponsor. Kyle said, not nearly as much in the internet age as it did in the past. I think there's two aspects to this question.
Okay.
One is that it doesn't necessarily make it harder, but where you live can definitely make it easier.
Yeah, like if you live in California, right? I'd say, like, if you live in California and you're going to the skate parks that all the top pros are at, or all the basically, right, California.
You're going to HB Vans Park and seeing Robbie Morales every Wednesday. Like, there's a big
ass. Yes, but it will only get you so far. So maybe it's actually a good question. you might be, if you're in the right location and you're just a good bike rider and you're a nice, personable guy where people just like you,
Mm-hmm.
You'll get free stuff.
Yeah.
That's it. So don't feel that if you're near the plate, if you're not living in one of those main areas, that you're missing out, because maybe you would get free stuff, but that's it. You're not all of a sudden, if just like Kyle said in the chat, in this day and age with the internet, I don't think it matters as much. But if, let's say, a Robbo sees you and you're a cool dude and you're fun to ride with, will he offer you a bike frame? Maybe, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's it. I think after that, it would be the level of riding, and is he having the following on social media?
Mm-hmm.
Is he putting out a kick-ass video part, or is he performing at a contest? I think Robbo would agree with that being said. No, if I like someone, maybe I'll give him a discount on a frame, but it's not gonna change anything else outside of that. So again, we're talking $300. You guys don't have to feel like you're missing out.
Right.
You know?
Kyle said, keep in mind, brands will sponsor people demographically. A California brand has California locked down. They can use the East Coast guy, which is a good point, too.
See? Yeah, well, I mean, we got the corporate guy, basically answering our questions. Next time, Kyle, you're not in the interview. Step the fuck out.
I love that.
Now, Kyle knows this shit, man. And Kyle works with all these big brands, so he knows. From Hyper, who, just so you know, I'm still sponsored by Hyper Bikes. So
that's tight.
A sponsored rider for 12 years, 13 years now. I still got my bike in Walmart, with my name on it since 2010. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's cool. Good name. I have a good last name,
So the corporate
sponsors. All right, so this one, and this is where we'll probably end, and it won't be as fun, right? So yeah. I had an agent. I had the agent. We had the Do Tour, which was a live television event. There was 5 stops. Then we had X Games. Then we had ASA contest. Then we had the international contest. What Kyle say? Stern. Sorry, I'll leave. Okay. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I would say for the corporate sponsors, I know we want to be positive and say, hey, like anyone can get sponsored. I'll say for a contest rider, the best chance to get sponsored, if you're a contest guy and you're a professional contest guy, would be if the corporate sponsor is sponsoring one of these big events. That would be because they have decided that their business wants to integrate with BMX and they want to support action sports, or specifically BMX. So if they are sponsoring the X Games, the Do Tour, well, whatever the Do Tour is, I'll go as far as like a feast contest or kind of contest.
Simple session.
Simple session. If it's a corporate sponsor sponsoring that event, that means they want to be in action sports. So there's a chance that being there at the contest and performing well, you have an opportunity to meet someone that represents the brand.
Yeah.
So that is where you do good at a contest, you get top 3, and you're just a good person, and you're hanging out at the event. You're potentially meeting people. You're not being a dick. You're being nice to random people, because at any point it could be a random person that's in charge of the contest or in charge of that sponsor that has the power to spend money, and they might be bringing their kid to the event.
Right.
So you have to be aware to be a nice person. So that's number 1, would be the best opportunity. The big time athletes that went to the Olympics or are winning the X Games, I want to say all of them or most of them have agents. So how do you get an agent? When you get that good and you are getting top 3 at bike contests, they will come to you. It's pretty simple. You don't have to do anything. They will come to you. So that would be for contest riders to get a corporate sponsor. I would say to reach out. Funny enough, reaching out randomly to a corporate company, I think will get you nowhere.
Yeah.
Now, funny enough, I could flip that and say a Instagram guy with a big following, now a big following that has that seems like a good person, has a good attitude, doesn't have a bike sponsor. I don't think it matters. This will be funny. Different than energy drink. If someone had a couple 100,000 following or 100,000 following, I would say it needs to be a real number, a big 3-digit number. And they reach out to a company and say, hey, I would love to work with you guys. I think the Instagram guy actually has the best shot at getting a corporate company to look at them. Because this day and age, like Kyle said too, if you have a big following, if anyone reaches out to us with a giant following and they asked for some free product, we'd probably give it to them.
Yeah. Right.
But Video Park guy is very in trouble on this one. I don't think there's a path.
You got to have a million view video that you can send them.
Yeah, and it would be a screenshot showing, look, on YouTube. Like, it'd have to be somewhere that mattered, too. So it'd have to be YouTube. Like, it can't be some random,
They're not going to care about Vimeo.
Dude, I was going to say it, but I didn't want to. Yeah, they don't care, man. It has to be YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I don't even know if for what we're talking about, I don't think Twitter matters anymore. You know, like that almost is gone from that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But from a corporate perspective, maybe, from political, if you're trying to run for a political office, Twitter still matters.
Yeah.
But action sports, I don't think Twitter matters anymore. TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook and Instagram. That's it.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, but it's pretty slim pickings as far as corporate goes, unless the corporate company has decided they want to get into action sports.
Yeah, I think once you get to a certain point in your social media, whether it be your YouTube channel, your TikTok, or your Instagram, if you think about the type of thing that fits into who you are, or the things that you do, it's basically a matter of you hit that person up with the types of things you're talking about, and it's a flip of a coin whether or not you're going to get a reply, and you might not. I reached out to one just a couple weeks ago, and they actually sent me something. And
why is that? Because you have a following.
Yep. And I expressed how my following and the demographic of that following fits with what their product is.
But you're selling yourself on that. And can you say this? I would say pretend someone wanted to be sponsored by some kind of snack company.
Mm-hmm.
They could probably, and I don't want to like say it's okay, but like from a random corporate company sponsor, if they found 10 different bar companies, like like granola bars or something, they could probably copy and paste that message.
Oh, definitely.
It doesn't matter. You're not hurting anyone's feelings. No one cares. And there's a small chance that if they look and your following is big enough, they'll probably they might send you some stuff.
Yep.
There's no loss to them. They have a budget. They could give you free shit, and then maybe it gets you in the door, so they're aware of you, right? And
Yep.
What do you think? Do you think we touched on? But again, remember I told you I wanted to end on this because it's not the most fun one.
No, it's not
and
fun.
This is the big money one.
There's actually another aspect of this that I think we could throw in here too, in that the corporate side of things is where you have to think about your qualifications, and that is your numbers the most. If you can present to this corporate company your 100,000 Instagram followers with your this many impressions on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, and you can show them the data that shows I can back this up, the same way that we started by saying for the company, look, this is the value I can bring you. I'm going to prove it to you. Maybe you don't say I'm going to prove it to you. You take the numbers that prove it and you send them the numbers, because at that level, the numbers are what they care about.
And they get to tell their bosses that they got, this BMXer that has a big following, and he wants to try our shit. So let's see what happens. And then all of a sudden, he posts a video. It gets some good amount of views, probably more views than they normally get.
Yep.
So then now he has integrated himself. This rider has integrated himself in the brand, and then as time goes on, maybe 3 months, 6 months down the line, that's where you would go, hey, how can you help me get to contests? And that's a nice way to say money. I know we talked about this. I wrote this down. Was you asked me like the best way to like negotiate or
Oh yeah,
develop.
negotiating. So actually, that's the next step to this. So you break through. You get in touch with these companies. You're in contact. You got some free stuff. You're at a level, and this is, I think, a really important part because I think there's a lot of BMX riders who get to the free stuff level and then never leave it, and that's how we
Yep.
race to the bottom, and everybody just rides for a set of grips because
Yep.
nobody ever pushed
Yeah.
past the free stuff part.
Yeah.
So where do you go from there?
Oh, so all right. So good. So contest riders.
That one's easy.
I think if you're a professional athlete and you are winning or getting top three in the pro contests, I think at the end of the day, there's a point where pretend you're supporting them and you got them in the door. I would use a specific contest and say, hey, I've been rocking you guys out for the last 6 months. I'm trying to go to this contest in 2 months to, it doesn't matter where you're going. I live in Florida. I'm trying to go to California. Is there any way you can help me get there? I would say that's the break. And they have to, I feel like if you're talking to them here and there, they have to respond to you.
Yeah.
And they're either going to say, what do you mean? Which is a good answer you want. What do you mean? Or, sorry, I can only give you free shit.
Yeah.
So almost, if you get one of those, sorry, I can only give you free shit, that's cool. You know where you're at with them.
Yep.
And you make your decision. If you're a pro rider, that's when you should, like, if you're not a professional and somehow you manage to get people to give you money, good for you. But there's only so many little amount of pro riders. So if you're a pro rider and you're winning contests, you're getting podiums, I think you have the option to be like, yo, I've been supporting you guys, can you help me get to point A to point B? And that's the opening conversation of, if they say, yeah, what are you thinking? How much will that cost? Oh, $1,500, $2,000. And they could quickly say, oh, I could do a hotel, or oh man, that's a little too much, but I could get 1,000. Like, that's cool. At least they broke the ice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's for a contest guy. For an Instagram guy, I would use hey, we've been working together for a while now. I would say we have to figure out a way to break the ice, right? So breaking the ice would be, hey, I want to film a video part. Is there any way that you, XYZ bike sponsor, could help me fly to see a friend of mine that's going to film me?
It's like the same thing.
Yeah, we're using it's the same nice way that you're not asking for money.
Yeah.
You're not asking for money. You're saying, can you help me? And that's the breaking the ice, because if they say no to that, they're not giving you money to just give you money. So it's very simple. Now, here's one thing I wanted to bring up because I've heard about it without going into names. It's the perceived value of these, maybe the contest riders or the Instagram guys, what they think they deserve. It's very simple. We are only worth what we are willing to say no to. It's very simple. If a bike company is willing to give you a bike part, you are worth getting free bike parts. If a bike company is willing to pay you to travel once a year, every couple months, to point A to point B, your worth is paying for travel every couple months. That's simple. If you already ride for someone, but another company has offered you to not give you free stuff, but to give you free shit and to pay for travel, you go to the current company you're working with, unless you're very unhappy, and you tell them, hey, this company offered to start helping me with travel. I prefer to stay with you guys because you started with you guys. Can you at least do something like their offer?
Yeah.
Right? You are worth only what other people are willing to pay for you. In this day and age, there's 3 energy drink sponsors, right? There's only 3. If you get an offer from more than one of them, you have a chance to kind of play the game, right?
Yeah.
That's also what an agent is for. So at that level of top guy, you have an agent to kind of play the dirty work, to kind of go, hey, he's, it sucks to say this, but like if I'm beating you in a contest and I know you get a certain amount of money a month from Monster, it doesn't simply say that shouldn't I get at least as much as you or more? Yeah, it makes sense, but it doesn't work that way.
You're right.
They've already spent money on Brant, sending him the contest, giving him helmet, So no, it doesn't work that way. Let's see if you could last a few, like maybe another year, and then maybe you could kind of go that route, of like, hey, I've been now beating Brant at the contest for 1 year, and he's still making this much for Monster. Come on, and I have a good attitude, and I'm not an asshole. Come on, right? And like it kind of shakes out that way. But anyways, I would say for Monster, Red Bull, and Rockstar, if only one of them offers you money, you can't really push from there, man, because if only Monster is offering you the paycheck, where do you stand? You probably have to take it, or don't, but don't
take it and improve yourself.
Yep,
so that you can.
Maybe you hope not to lock yourself into a multi-year contract. Now, if you're a contest rider, I could say you might have to take that sponsorship that they're offering you, but maybe the negotiation would be, I think we talked about this earlier, is, hey, I understand that's what you could pay me for. Is there anything we can do if I do really good at the contests? And honestly, if you ask them for a giant bonus if you win the fucking Olympics, you could probably get it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Nobody's saying no to you if you won the Olympics.
Yeah, so if you say, hey, I know you could only pay for travel to contests, Monster, Red Bull, or Rockstar, but if I win the Olympics, can you pay me $100,000? You could probably get it.
Yeah.
You'll probably get it, And this day and age, I think that's like that used to be the normal salary for us back in the day for like the top guys was around that amount. I know this day and age it's different because there's the Olympics, which is the biggest contest you could have, but the dew tours aren't there, which used to be the constant TV coverage,
right?
Which is where we got these corporate sponsors from. So when I was sponsored by other corporate companies, it was because I was on, like, we were on NBC TV.
Yeah.
Multiple times a year. And, like, if you were a top guy, like either Daniel Dares, myself, Garrett Reynolds, Dennis Anderson, Scotty Kramer, they put us on the TV a lot. So,
right.
like, our agent would literally say, hey, I know Mike, Garrett, Dennis, Scotty, all those guys are going to be on TV this year for 10 to 20 minutes. Television, you know? Like, so this day and age, it's not as much anymore. But I think it could come back. So I'm very optimistic that Olympics will help it come back.
Right, and it seems like the Instagram and social media numbers have kind of taken the place of the TV time.
Yeah, it has, but I think without the money, though.
Yeah.
Without the money.
There's so many people.
You just beat me to it. There's so many. So, like, at the contest, if you're the top three guy, and it's Dennis Anderson, Garrett, and me, and we're the Americans, which American, I just want to say this, if you're American, it's you have a much better of a shot to get sponsored by an American corporate company. And a lot of the foreigners, if it be Europe, Australia, I would say those guys have to work a lot harder to get the same sponsors as us Americans. So I just got to start there, that we already, like, if you're an American, we already have an edge up from the Europeans and from the Australian guys. I got to say that I feel that people from other countries outside of the U.S., I think, work harder to get the same sponsorship level as us American guys. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I could see how that would be a thing. It just costs more. There's more hassle with it too.
I wouldn't say it costs more. It's just, doesn't the American company want to sponsor the American guy? Do they really want to sponsor, even though maybe the number one guy is a foreigner? They still rather get probably second or third place. That's the American guy. It's just, it
makes sense.
American company wants to sponsor an American,
Yeah, man. I think that does a really good job of telling this story. Kyle wants to know, he said, looking back on your BMX career, knowing what you know now about business, what are one or two things that you would have done differently?
I think about this all the time, and I try to look back at instances where I would have changed my way of, if it be to what Kyle said, either a way I would have dealt with sponsors differently, or if I would have dealt with maybe opening my mouth too much, or or if I would have wanted to live somewhere else, or because I lived at Woodward Camp, then I went to Greenville, then I went back to Woodward, and then I built my place in my backyard. Or if there was just a different way of spending money or not. I think about this all the time. Or when I was on some of like the late night shows, like I did the Jimmy Fallon show, I gotta say this, and I think about this all the time, and I think I would admit it if it was different. There's not one thing I could think about really that I would change from a business standpoint. That I'm like when I met all the corporate sponsors and I meet them, I was just very happy and realistically very happy with meeting. Oh, you're the person that actually gives the green light to sponsor me at Ballpark Hot Dogs or Monster Energy or Hyper Bikes or Maxxis Tires or Bell Helmets or Nike shoes. It didn't matter. I was just generally so thankful that I think I was like, I really showed them that I was very, very happy, and thank you so much for supporting me. And I think I did. I maybe the only thing I would change differently was, everyone that knows me well knows that I just like to kid around and mess around a lot and say funny shit. But at the time when I was like starting to do really better at contests, and I had a big mouth and I was just making jokes, for the people that knew me well, they knew I was just having fun. For the guys that didn't, that all of a sudden I'm this random kid that started to beat them at the contest, and I just said like some stupid joke right beforehand, probably didn't rub people the right way.
Yeah.
So maybe I would have toned it down a little bit, knowing that I'm putting myself out there saying some jokes just to make myself more comfortable at a contest, because I'm looking up to all these riders. I look up to all these riders and I'm competing against them, and I'm nervous. So my normal thing would be is I'd probably just make some jokes and say stuff just to kind of like break the ice with them. That was my way to break the ice and get comfortable riding. And I would say that's the only thing I probably would have told myself, is to tone it back a little. I have to put myself in their shoes. There's this random kid coming and he's doing tricks I can't do. He's about to beat me at this contest, at this Dew Tour, and he has sponsors already, and he hasn't even rode a season yet. What the fuck? And he just said some dumb joke to me that's not funny at all.
Yeah.
So I would have toned it back, and I learned my lesson on that, where when I went into this industry in sports nutrition, I knew to just, be a little more quiet, and it wasn't that I don't think I was not being humble. I was just having a good time. I couldn't believe I was on the ramp with Ryan Nyquist.
Yeah.
So I would say something like, I can't believe I used to watch you, I would watch the videos of you, Nyquist and Miracle Boy, so many times. And I remember telling him this on a ramp, and we're at the Dew Tour. He did not want to hear that.
Yeah.
He did not care at all. It was bad timing.
Yeah.
I was just trying to talk to him, and he's looking at me like, why are you talking to me about this? We're at a BMX contest, and this is my job, man. Like,
Yeah.
But back now, I was just breaking the ice and trying to like, oh my gosh, Ryan Nyquist. So, just stuff like that. So other than that.
That makes a lot of sense.
Good talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the last thing that I'll say about all of this is that I feel like it ultimately comes down to shifting your mindset and perspective into a business mindset of, what are you doing that makes you worthy of getting what you're trying to get from the person that you're approaching. And when you be honest with yourself, when you ask that question, you will very quickly realize whether or not you deserve it or have qualified yourself to get that.
Yeah. It's I can't agree with you more, but it's very hard for, I'd say, people to see that, because if I'm a contest rider, I just want to say this last thing. I hope this ties it together. If I'm a contest rider, and I'm an amateur and I'm coming up the ranks. And when I watch on TV, I see the guys that are getting podiums, and they're doing the same tricks that I do. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm at a pro level.
Yeah.
And you just got to say to yourself, well, yes, I can do the same tricks that guy Daniel Sandoval did. Can you do all his same tricks, or are you able to just do one of the tricks at the skate park, fourth try,
mm-hmm.
or are you able to do his, flare whip to double decade to 900 right after each other? That is a contest rider.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And and for the video guys and for the Instagram like big following guys, it would be the same thing. Is can you do you have to really look at yourself as like a business to sell yourself if you're not contest riding, which is just straight up beating other people. It's pretty cut and dry. If
Mm-hmm.
you're an Instagram guy, you have to look at yourself like a business, like you said, Brant, is almost what do I have to do on Instagram so I get big enough following so when I message these people, there's a reason. And it sucks because not only are you bike riders anymore, you're like trying to create a mini business,
Yep.
right? You're trying to like do good tricks on a bike, but get people to actually like it, which means you have to know how to film or know how to edit, know how to have all these other qualities. And then on top of that, you have to be good at understanding business and reaching out to people. So like riding, it's not just riding a bike. It's like
Nope.
it's so much more than that, right?
At the level we're talking about, where you are trying to get support for your riding, that is exactly what it is. And on the flip side, if that's not what you're trying to do and all you care about is riding your bike and having fun, I don't
Perfect.
know how you even made it this far in the video.
Yeah, or I'm jealous as hell from you because you're probably so much more happy riding a bike, right? Because if you don't have to worry about if you just love to ride your bike, didn't like we talked about like the best bike riders at the skate parks that are riding the place, they're happy. Their expectations are they just want to have fun and they're good and maybe they're going really high on the wall ride and enjoying it, but they're not stressed and they're just enjoying the ride and they're leaving the skate park where, we're stressed out filming something. We need to leave the skate park today with a new clip
Yeah.
or some new trick in the foam pit that we could do and perform at a contest, right? So,
Yeah, man.
sorry
Well,
this was so long. I hope
no, I think that it was exactly what it needed to be, and I hope that somebody who watches this finds some utility in it through it.
I like it.
I really appreciate you doing
No,
this
this
too.
was awesome. I hope you invite me back on here.
Oh, we're gonna come back and we're gonna do the Mike Spinner talk instead of the sponsorship talk.
Yeah, that'll be probably more fun, right? Because this one, I feel like I'm just getting used as a tool, you know.
Listen, somebody did just say in the chat, y'all should be charging for this seminar. Nothing but gold.
Oh, who's saying that?
Oh, fat guy BMX. His name's Stony.
Well, thanks, man. That's really nice of you. We don't mind, but you could tip Brant, please. Right? Right? You tip,
I mean, that is. I don't call it out, but that is a thing.
Yeah. See, I could call it out though, right?
Yeah, that's totally cool.
If you really believe that, let's get a tip. Brant, it was great to talk to you. Is there anything else, or I'm gonna?
No, I think we can wrap this one up, and I'll hit the end stream button if we want
Okay.
to
Yeah,
chat
let's.
for 2 seconds
Yeah,
afterwards.
do that.
So thank everybody for tuning in. Check out EVL and Mike Spinner online. Have a good night.